Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net on Tuesday the 16th of September. Thanks again for watching, and thanks to Gary for looking after the last couple of days. Right, thought we'd take a look ahead, an update on how the CFS looks, the MJO, etc. Over the next few days. If we just look at the radar pictures, pressure. First of all, you can see here we've got low pressure down towards the southwest just at the moment. We've got high pressure that's centred up here towards the northeast. It's that results in this easterly flow. So the high that we've had around is going to be eroded away somewhat over the next few days. You notice there those showery troughs that are kind of coming by, and they're going to be producing some showers down in towards the southwest, further showers across eastern parts of Scotland, across eastern parts of England, and an increasing threat of seeing some showers just as the pressure falls off. But then by the weekend, look, we've got high pressure back in again up towards the northwest, still got this easterly flow. So I don't think there's going to be much in the way of rainfall around, but there will be bits and pieces of rain around. It leads us to quite a messy situation with that high, look, just keeping things down towards the south, keeping low pressure at bay down here. Although pressure back up again, look, by the weekend to 1,020 millibars. So I'm still going to go for the south and the west, most favoured probably to see most of any rainfall. And it's interesting to see what the GFS ensemble does with this one, because you see here, look at the temperature change towards the end of the weekend. These are maximum temperatures, look, and we see this build. This is for London, but it's quite representative. We're going to be seeing temperatures sort of 27 degrees, I think, by the end of this week across the London area. But then look what happens through the weekend, that sharp fall off in temperatures, and we're down into 18s and 19s potentially during the early to middle stages of next week. Still not much in the way of rainfall, but it does see some heavy showers here, look, towards the end of this week into the weekend, and they could be heavy and thundery showers, but it's this kind of drop in temperature that's of most interest. I still think the models aren't particularly dealing with this very well, and they've got the added complication now of Hurricane Eduardo, which is in the Atlantic. This is the Atlantic satellite picture, and you can see it here rotating around, look, and it's got quite a well-defined eye. Now, these are relatively local, small systems, but this one's a bigger feature, and it could have quite a dramatic impact, I think, on our weather once it gets into the system itself and gets hooked up by the jet. And this is the track that Edward, it is Edward, they keep swapping it between Eduardo and Edward, that Edward is forecast to take, look, coming up in a northeasterly direction during the coming days and heading towards the west of the Azores here by Friday and into the weekend. Now, the actual impact directly on us is probably going to be more notable in the medium to shorter term, because I think it's those forecasts that are going to have difficulty trying to pin down what happens here. This is the MJO, so this is the 30-day forecast of the MJO from the CFS, and I've got to say I'm quite impressed by the CFS model overall and the kind of steer that it gives. For a long-range model, it performs reasonably well. So you see what it's doing here. The black line is where we've been so far, and then the coloured lines from here on in are the various different runs of the model. It gives you an idea as to how they compare and how much agreement there is between the various different models. And what's of interest here, what to note, is that it's taken us, look, into phase 5 of the MJO, and it brings us out of that into phase 6 here around about the 28th of September, and then it mills around, look, in a very weak MJO phase, milling around between phases 6 and phase 7 before heading out, it thinks, well, one of the models thinks, into a stronger phase 6. But I think what we need to take from this is that the early to middle stages of October are just hanging around, milling around between phases 6 and phase 7. So what does that bring? Well, this is phase 6 for the MJO in this pattern. And you notice here, look, that it builds the ridge out in the Atlantic, puts a trough to the east of the country. Puts low pressure in here, higher pressure in here. Now that results in a cooler northwesterly flow, and it's trying to bring that in. If that's the MJO, then it's trying to bring that in from around about the turn of the month onwards. But this is how the CFS sees things. This is how it sees week 2 look. It has a high in there. It has the high out here, out towards the west of the country. It's got this trough feature, these lower than normal heights up towards the north, bringing this more westerly flow. That ties in with the GFS ensemble model, which I'll just show you quickly now. That ties in with the GFS ensemble. If we just go forwards here, look. Remember that was the period from the 23rd through to the end of the month. There, look. There's the west to southwesterly flow. It's bringing the jet stream to the north of the country. It builds a high back into the south, brings us more into a southwesterly flow by the sort of 24th, 25th. And that's where the CFS tries to take us. But the MJO doesn't see that. The MJO wants to make far more of the ridge out towards the west. And the October MJO does this, look. The October MJO wants to take us into phase 7, which we saw, and put the trough out towards the east, build the ridge to the UK, and a trough towards the west, ridge to the UK, trough towards the east. So it's wanting to meander between these various phases, and it's almost like this trough out towards the east is getting pushed out and then comes back in again. So we're getting this backwards forwards motion of the trough. So we're kind of seeing widely different ideas coming through. This is week 3 from the CFS, which puts the low than normal heights towards the north, higher than normal heights down towards the south, and brings us in to more of this westerly flow. And then the week 4 CFS does this. It builds back in the ridge down to the south, low than normal heights towards the north, puts the jet through here is quite a strong feature, and puts a trough down through the UK. So actually, with that trough down through the UK, that puts us more into the phase 6 pattern that we saw there. So it does kind of meander between the two, but what we're going to have to look for over the next few days is this evidence of which of these indicators is going to be correct. Has the CFS correctly picked up on the MJO? And is it trying to incorporate it within the model? Has the GFS ensemble got that in there as well? Is it going for this more westerly flow? I think at the moment, if I've got to go for one or the other, because the MJO is so weak, I think we have to go towards these lines of the CFS and what it's trying to say. And if we do that, then the CFS certainly hints next week at the high building to the south, the westerly trying to get in towards the north, and the idea of things turning a little bit more unsettled through Scotland. Week 3, so taking us towards the end of September, puts low than normal heights towards the north, certainly gives us a stronger jet stream across many northern areas, potentially making it more unsettled across the northern half of the UK and Ireland than it has been for some time, and across northern Europe for that matter, but still keeping lots of dry weather down towards the south. And then for week 4, it's trying to do this. It's trying to build in that ridge again down towards the south, making southern parts of Ireland, the far southwest of England, perhaps drier. But it does have the impact of this trough from the week 4 forecast, 7th to the 13th of October, bringing showers across the country. So how could we sum this one up? I think what we've got to look for the beginning of October is certainly more unsettled towards the north, drier in the south at first, and then some heavy showers getting going. And we just need to monitor this because we need to compare that to the MJO to see how that pattern evolves over the coming days. But I want to bring you up to date as well in the next few days on the winter forecasts too, so do stay tuned. So I'm going to leave you with that for now, but that's where our thinking is going just at the moment. Hopefully that's useful for you. Thanks for watching weatherweb.net. Please do spread the word about us, and bye for now.